I forget which video this is, but the next slide should be titled Hypnosis and Manipulation. So, hypnosis and manipulation was used upon the eyewitnesses to help them create such a solid story, which would end up leading to the conviction of Robert Baltovich. So, at the time in the 90s in Canada, specifically Ontario, hypnosis was allowed in terms of helping witnesses, not just eyewitnesses, basically condense their information into purely true forms. They could hypnotize and then ask questions, and they were hypnotized to a point where they had to speak their truth. Now, this is the problem with hypnotism, is they will speak their truth to their belief. So if I believe I saw Santa Claus flying in the sky when it was really a comet, and I'm hypnotized and asked, did you see Santa Claus? I'm going to say yes. If that were done in a courtroom, it would be known that Santa Claus is real and God isn't real, and all these false things would come up if we use that for the scientific theory. But in law at the time, things were completely different because it makes sense when it comes to murder and sexual harassment. Does not make sense. So at this time, manipulation was used from the actual family of Elizabeth Bain. Marianne Purrs, before she was called in by the police, she had seen articles that were released into the city talking about Robert and how he was thought to be the killer. She also met with the family of Elizabeth Bain after being called in as a witness. She spoke with them, and the family was devastated by this, obviously. I would not expect anything else. But the family blamed Robert completely and pushed that notion onto Marianne. Marianne later believed that it was Robert based off the fact that she thought she saw him, and they believe it was Robert, and so did most people. So she came to the conclusion that it must have been Robert. So when she was hypnotized, they said, did you see Robert Baltovich on this day at this time, which was the 21st of June, 1990. That's not really important, but she believed that she saw him. So she said yes, which was taken as fact. That completely overrules all of Robert's evidence, saying that he was at home, or saying that he already looked for her, all these things, saying that there was no DNA evidence. Obviously, if you were in this car at that time, driving her away, you would either remember that or you did the murder. So that was what got him caught. They also hypnotized David Dibbin. David Dibbin only saw a fuzzy picture of a man, but based off of his idea that it was probably Robert in his head, he just said, yes, I saw Robert Baltovich. This led to the inevitable, complete, unequal balance of evidence against Robert. So the next slide, if you would please switch, is titled Life in Prison. This is quite a short section. It's not very much talked about by Robert. It was quite private for him. But he does talk about how he was not necessarily harassed, seriously. He was more afraid for his safety and his mental sanity, I could say. He was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder upon being released. So he did not at all have a good time in those 8 years, but his hopes slowly started to drain as he believed that most people thought he was the killer, so what's the point of even trying? But after a couple years of thinking about it, well, by a couple, I mean, I'm not going to do math. In 1999, he believed that he could prove to people that he didn't do it. So he sent a letter to a lawyer, James Lockyer, who would later help him build a case for bail. Nora, can you please stop the video?